Alright, whoever thought having a 4-month break in between an 8-episode season, please never do that again. That mid-season break killed the hype for this show. Now I know how Attack on Titan fans feel. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I think they've had it way worse than Invincible fans. But despite the mid-season break, this season is still a banger. So Invincible Season 2 is the long-awaited sophomore season to the insanely popular Amazon Prime series. The show is based off of the Invincible comics created by Robert Kirkman, and it stars Steven Yeun, Sandra Oh, J.K. Simmons, and many, many more. After the events of Season 1, Mark tries to get his life back on track as he makes new adversaries and allies, all while trying to suppress the fear that he may become his father. And that plot doesn't even describe all that happens in Season 2. One thing that I really admired about Invincible is that how well written the characters are. Like, if you look back at the main characters in Season 1, they are some very compelling and well written characters. And you look at how those same characters are in Season 2, and they are even more compelling, which I think, to me, is a fascinating feat. Not only are the primary characters getting their spotlight, but also the secondary characters as well. Like in this season, almost all of the characters, including the secondary characters, they all have a moment to shine in this movie. Like, everyone gets the spotlight for at least a few minutes. I'm glad this show is not ignoring the secondary characters and just treating them like pushing them to the side. Like, the show gives you a reason to care about them. They give you a reason to hear their story and you want to see what happens next. For example, Rexplode, like, he is way better in Season 2 compared to Season 1. If you look at Season 1, Rexplode was a quip-dropping jackass. Like, he was a complete nuisance to the Guardians of the Globe. But here in Season 2, he is given way much more to do. Like, he's no longer the comedic relief. Like, he actually has a story. He actually has a heart. He actually cares about his teammates. And I think they handled the character of Rex very well, because in Season 1, I hated him. Season 2, he's now one of my favorite characters. And he is not the only character getting better writing. Amber, like, listen, I'll be honest. I liked Amber in Season 1 up until that 7th episode. I'm not going to jump back into that rabbit hole because, oof. But I can say here in Season 2, she is way, way better. She is much more compassionate, much more understanding, and she's way more likable now. And here in Season 2, the writers said, hey, remember that one weird era that happened to Amber in episode 7? Yeah, let's pretend that never happened. Let's move on. We're in the present now. Forget the past. So I do appreciate the secondary and the supporting characters getting more love. Now, as far as the primary characters, the biggest standouts to me were Mark and Debbie. Season 1 was all about Mark following his father's footsteps into becoming a hero. In Season 2, he still wants to become the hero while not turning into his father, and also trying to figure out, how do I balance life between Mark Grayson and Invincible. And in this season, we see the conflicts and the struggles and the obstacles that Mark faces trying to balance the two. And I think this season does a tremendously well job at showcasing that. And Steven Yeun, man, I gotta tell you, the dude is already a phenomenal actor, but here with voice acting, he is just immaculate. When you see and hear Steven Yeun's performance in the Season 2 finale, it's moments like that that make me question, why is there not a voice acting category at the Oscars or any of the other Academy Awards? But overall, Steven Yeun was just incredible in this season, and I cannot wait to see more of him come Season 3 and beyond. But also Debbie, like, she is given way more to do in this season, and Sandra Oh's voice acting is incredible. So in Season 2, Debbie's trying to move on and heal after the events of Season 1. And I think Debbie will forever have my heart, because when you, like, imagine you've been married to somebody for years, like almost 2 decades. I think it was 15 years they've been married. But imagine seeing the love of your life live in 4K saying, hey, I did love you, but as a pet. That shit is just bizarre. You really, really feel for her, especially in the first half of Season 2. In this entire season, the conversations that she has with Mark just made me love and appreciate her more as a character. And all the characters in this show are great, but I'm not going to go too deep into all of them because There are so many characters in this season. But I will talk about the animation, and I did like it. I think the animation in this season is better than season 1. Now, I've been seeing some takes about people saying the animation in this season was lazy. It didn't feel complete. It felt very boring and generic unless it's like a certain action scene. And I can kind of see that, but I would disagree. Could the animation in this season have been better? Yes, it could have. However, some of these people online are saying like this is some of the worst animation ever. Brother, I have seen way worse animation. But regardless, I like the animation and I will stand on that. Now, I really enjoyed the story of this season, but I do have one complaint. And that is, I feel like this season tried to juggle so many different plot lines and try to wrap it all up, all within a span of 8 episodes. Okay, maybe not all the plot lines, but it feels like there's a lot going on in this season, and I just feel like 8 episodes was not enough. In fact, some would say that season 2 doesn't really have a consistent story, and I think that's also kind of fair as well, but listen, this world is massive, so I don't blame the writers or the showrunners for trying to expand this world with these different plot lines. My thing is, I wish there was more time to explore it more. But as far as like the main story with how Mark is trying to just overcome the pain and suffering and trauma that he and his mother has faced from season 1, that main story, I thought that story alone was incredible. And this season has some great action, which I feel like it should not be a surprise. I mean, season 1 has some incredible action, but in season 2, the action is just as good. The violence in this season is way more visceral compared to season 1, and that's saying a lot. I mean, season 1 was up here, but season 2, as far as the violence, it's on a close high. But the action in here overall is incredible. I loved it. It's intense, it's engaging, and it's pretty badass. Along with the great action, you have great intensity, and throughout this entire season, there are some really, really great intense moments. Like, not just with action, just with dialogue exchanges between heroes and villains, and I was really fascinated with that. Like, imagine the worst things about to happen to a certain character, and it does, but it is way more graphic than you thought. The intensity is insane, especially in episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yo. And this season, well, not even just this season, this whole show does an amazing job at subverting expectations, because you think one thing is going to happen, but then it doesn't, or that thing does happen, but then it does a Uno reverse, and you're like, oh. And I love that. I love when a show can subvert my expectations in the most chaotic way possible. There is one thing in this show that I am kind of on the fence about, and that is the handling of Angstrom Levy. Look, I like Angstrom Levy, and I really do like his motivations as a villain. However, I feel like the handling of his character was kind of disappointing. This season hyped up Angstrom Levy like he was going to be the next big baddie of the season, right? Like he was going to be the next posing threat to Mark and his family, and even just anyone on planet Earth. They introduced him in season 1, right? Where you see who he is, what his motivations are, and how he becomes essentially that. And we do see glimpses of him in like a post-credit scene throughout the season, but we really don't see this man again until episode 8. And by the time we got to episode 8, or near the end of episode 7, I completely forgot about the character. I forgot he was a threat. I forgot he was here, because I was so focused on the other subplots that the Angstrom Levy subplot kind of got swept under the rug. But in the end, y'all, Invincible season 2 is amazing. I don't think it's as good as season 1, because season 1 really set the bar high. But I do believe that season 2 is a close high, and Invincible as a whole is one of the best shows on television right now. So, plugging Invincible season 2 into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pinnacle zone. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for Invincible Season 2. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about Invincible Season 2. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you excited for Season 3? How long do you think we're going to have to wait? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you all in the next one.